Stop this deal.
New rule. I'm back on Locker Room Talk.
Yeah, your exile has been revoked, man. Welcome back.
I'm thinking you're back.
Yeah.
Joe Gorman, Bobby Sheehan, along with a still basically one-armed Matt.
Yeah. Well, you know, everyone was saying, like, oh, why isn't Jay Turner? Why hasn't he permanently replaced Matt? Jay Turner was unfortunately murdered by the New York Police Department. So until we find out what happens...
Yeah.
I don't know. What was it? Like, oh, I guess they stood on his neck for 11 minutes and 42 seconds.
Yeah.
They wanted to, quote, break the record.
Yeah, he did. So he's more resilient than George Floyd.
It's very sad.
He could add that to his comedy bio if he were still alive, but he's dead.
Right. It's
But
very
what a fucking bio. And what an opening to a fucking podcast. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's very sad that somebody who did something terrible to me that I never would want revenge on in any way just mysteriously died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's mysterious.
Matt was like, it was funny because I was like, Matt, you know, he did hurt you. And, you know, he is on record saying, I'm glad I hurt you. I'm glad I broke your arm. You're a bitch. I said, are you going to sue? Matt said, what, for his fucking welfare stamp? And I was like, why would you say that, Matt? And Matt was like, because he's...
And if you know anything about Matt's dating history, when Jay was like, I hurt you and it was on purpose and I hate you, Matt got a big old boner.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll show the listeners a little bit. Turn away if you're squeamish. This is why you should watch the video, because you get to see all this little thing in
Matt,
here.
you're, focus on the point more towards the camera. Play towards it.
And we can see this zipper I got on my arm.
Oh,
back
wow.
here. Yeah.
Isn't that gross?
Oh, my goodness.
Isn't that gross looking, dude?
Staples come out on Friday. All right, they'll be out by the time this episode comes out.
You used to work at Staples.
I did work at Staples.
Coming full
Isn't
circle.
that wasn't that? Didn't it? Oh, does it still hurt?
Certain movements do. Yesterday I made one like quick movement, almost like a reflex, and it was just like too far. I just like
was it to
reached
hit
up.
a woman?
Yeah, and it was just like
That is a reflex.
Yeah, it was just can't make that. I had to like pull back immediately. It was like, well, that's going to be intense pain for the next 8 hours.
Oh, mercy me, goodness gracious me, oh my.
Yeah, it's I felt I had a broken foot back in a wrestling match back in the day, and like in the moment that was like probably the most pain I felt when I had wisdom tooth impacted. That was like the most pain I felt, where I was like full on screaming into a pillow. And like, but as far as an injury goes,
that wasn't the first time you were screaming into a pillow.
That's true.
It was the first time someone wasn't behind him.
Yeah, it was the first time. It wasn't the first time I was screaming into a pillow because of something being impacted in my mouth. But as far as like an injury goes and a consistent thing, this is like the most painful injury I've had, because it's like every day, multiple times a day, just certain movements can just be, well, I'm going to be in pain all day.
They got you Oxycontins though, Matt. Just take those every few hours.
Those are gone already.
Oh my goodness. And it's probably a nightmare to get more, if they'll even give you more.
Yeah, I don't have any refills on it. I have Tylenol still, which at this point I mostly don't need the Oxy.
Yeah.
It's only when a certain movement happens, it's like, fuck, I wish I have 2 left.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm spacing.
Save them.
I got to save them now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, I am like very cautious and nervous about pain pills in general, just because of like wrestling friends of mine that have had problems with it. But also, every time they're like, all right, we're going to give you a little, it's never enough.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of be like, I am large. I need more than you think I need, and I don't have a problem.
Doctor,
Trust me.
I'm large and in charge.
Yes. I'm like, I don't have a problem, but believe me when I tell you, I need more than you think I need.
Yeah, but that's the issue.
Yeah.
Is fucking addicts say that too.
Yeah.
So I remember one time my mom was trying to get me pain pills for my tooth. I had like dental work, and it was so painful. And the dentist, it wasn't our regular dentist. Our regular dentist was like on vacation, so we had to go to, I guess, the guy filling in for him, and he just did not believe us.
You had a fill-in?
Yes, I had a fill-in.
There was someone fill-in at the dentist.
Every time you say something and it's not racist, I'm like, well, that was nice. What a nice little pun.
Yeah.
But I walk in to the office. I'm like a child, like 12.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, he had like surgery and he's in like an immense pain. And the doctor is like looking at her like, really? And I'm not old enough to understand what's happening.
Yeah.
I figured later he thought my mom was trying to use me to get pain pills. So he sits me down in the chair.
Dude, that's genius. I want kids now.
He sits me down in the chair, takes like this the remote. He takes like this dental tool and then just to my face, the front tooth that hurts, he just bangs it as hard as he can, and I jump 10 feet high.
He's like, I guess this kid is in pain.
Yeah, he's either in pain or he's the world's best actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a prick.
That's such a dick move. Let's see if this kid's really hurt. I'm going to jam him in the face.
That's like when you start to get old enough and you realize, like, oh, everybody is just some guy.
Yeah.
Like, you think, like, he's a medical professional. He wouldn't fucking test a child's pain like that.
Yeah.
But he did.
Wow.
God damn.
Yeah.
How'd that make you feel?
I should be sitting in a long chair.
Yeah.
Really?
And Joe should be smoking a pipe.
Yeah.
Do therapists smoke pipes?
I think some do.
Did I make
Sigmund
that trope
Freud,
up?
Yeah.
smoked a
Yeah,
pipe.
there we go.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes smoked a pipe.
Yeah.
Who else in pop culture smoked a pipe? Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, all
Yeah.
the Looney Tunes. I feel like it was all like the bubble pipe things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched season 9 of The Blacklist. That's one of the weirder shows that I got into because it's like a weird show that like parents watch when they like haven't admitted their marriage is falling apart.
Matthew, you don't mean that, do you?
And but yeah, I watched season 9 of it, and on it there's one of the characters, one of the FBI agents, has a painkiller problem, and when he's like going to the doctor about some injury or something that wasn't a real thing or whatever, he says he's like he talks to the doctor about like, God, I really hate to do this. I know you must get this all the time from people who are like addicts and all, and but I just, I'm in a lot of pain, something like that. And the doctor's like, well, yeah, it is tough, but with someone with your attitude, I feel like we can give it to you. And I'm like, oh, I've like said an exact thing like that to doctors like after brain surgery or things, and it's like, oh yeah, an addict would be able to like come up with a really good cover like that.
By saying like, I'm sure other people who are addicts would say something like this.
Yeah.
But me, a non-addict.
Exactly.
Can you believe I found myself in the exact same situation, but for non-addict-like results?
It's crazy how this happened. But yeah, Joe. So Joe came back from the Bayou.
I did. I went
Yes.
to Louisiana while Matt was in a hospital, and we didn't know if he was gonna come out of it or not. If we didn't know if, because I'm his emergency contact. Like I'm supposed to be like, I said, hey, take him off fucking life support, and whatever happens, happens. You know, I got a plane to catch.
Yeah.
JetBlue.
Yeah, Joe was in Louisiana. While I was getting a plate and screws put into my arm,
And he's never gonna get those out.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever coming. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like why would they go in and give me another surgery to take it out?
He's gonna have like a foreign substance, and I guess I also have like a thing on his ID because if he goes through a metal detector, it's gonna set that shit off.
I wonder if it's going because I
It
know
is.
from the brain surgery I have titanium mesh in my brain. But that
You're more
never
machine than man now.
Yeah, that
I
never.
literally
sets-
just said that, Bobber. God damn it!
Did you really?
You gotta have headphones, dude. You're missing out on all these bits.
But yeah, the titanium mesh has
I
never
probably
set
thought of
anything
it
off.
as you said it. I'm like, I gotta get this out.
This parallel
Yeah.
thinking.
Kleptonesia, maybe I heard it, and then I was like, oh, look at this thought I just had.
What's gonna be annoying now is that like I have a sling that I still wear when I'm like walking around outside, and if it's like too strenuous, just like for stability. For the most part, I'm going to be seemingly normal, except I still won't have so much function of my arm, so that's gonna be kind of annoying.
Aren't you excited when like your other arm's gonna be like significantly smaller than your fucking non-cast arm?
We'll see. I haven't been working out on it. I feel like that was like something I considered doing because we have weights in the apartment at home, and I'm like, should I just do some curls on the other side? I'm like, no, that'll make it even weirder looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also when I'm standing up, my arm is still just like up. So my roommate Mark Henley, may he live forever, said I'm just gonna look like a normal guy who really likes rubbing his tummy at all times.
Aw. That's a tough guy thing to rub your tummy.
Yeah, Mark Henley is a guy tummy expert.
Yes. So Joe,
He doesn't let you touch his tummy, though. He doesn't like it.
He doesn't like when other people touch his tummy.
What a
Yeah.
fucking is he like autistic about his personal space? Whatever.
Damn,
dude.
Joe didn't even flinch.
Nah, dude.
I'm rubbing his belly. I haven't stopped.
Yeah,
Joe-
Matt is a man in the comedy scene, and that means he can do whatever the fuck he wants. Folks, I'm sorry. You got to live by the sword, die by the sword,
Yes.
all right? That's the fucking problem is like too many fucking comedians are like, can you believe this guy's a rapist? Can you believe that guy's a rapist? It's like, yo, dog, we're all raping people.
Yeah.
Be fucking chill about it, man. We're all in this fucking brotherhood of hush hush, dude.
Yeah.
I remember one time a very famous
Hush Hush
comedian.
is my second favorite
Yeah.
HH slogan.
I remember one time this very famous comedian was like fucking jerking off in front of some female comics.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they were like, Eek, we got to get out of here. And I said, oh, no, you don't, sweetheart. And I blocked the door.
Ooh.
Yeah. But
Wait, which
unfortunately-
one was Dana and which one was Julia?
Well, it doesn't matter. The important thing is because I'm such a nobody comedian, they didn't even mention me, so they made it seem as if this fucking comic was aggressively jerking off and blocking the door.
Joe was furious when the article came out. He's like, Joe Gorman. My name is Joe Gorman. I was
Yeah.
right there.
comedian who bought ticket to show Joe Gorman. That's right.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if you're not on the same level as another comedian. There's a camaraderie that we all share as rapist comedians.
Yeah.
The idea of you calling the New York Times, you're like, yeah, hi, I was omitted unfairly.
Yeah.
they post an addendum in like the next issue, but it's at the very bottom so no one sees it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have that highlighted and circled and framed.
You may recognize this next comedian from blocking the door.
Yeah.
Nice. He is innocent, though. What can we say? What
Yeah.
can we do?
How was New Orleans?
Ah, beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Incredible wedding. Great food.
Yes, you were there for Mark Norman's wedding.
That's right. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
A dear friend, Mark
Yes.
Norman.
He's my dearest friend.
Yeah.
Really.
I asked him if he would do the pod, and he said comedy and
Oh.
vanished.
Yeah.
You know what? Between that and him saying me and seeing me and saying, "What's up, man?"
Nice, dude.
I really think we're onto something.
It was fun, man. Louisiana was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the right amount of days out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were like 5, 6 days?
6 days.
6
Did
days.
you see
yeah.
any Confederate statues?
I did.
Nice.
I saluted him.
How does one salute a Confederate statue? Is it?
Oh, you raise one arm directly.
It's painted black.
Yeah.
He's an arm in blackface.
Yeah. Yeah, man. No,
Yeah.
it was fun. It was a great culture, man. It was fun.
Did Bourbon Street, French
Yep.
Quarter, and all.
I
What-
drank.
Yeah.
Yeah, yikes.
What was I talked to you a little bit before we started recording. Your favorite things that you ate?
Yeah, just all the food was just so good.
Yeah.
So hearty. You do need like a day to adjust because like of the spices and grease and
Right.
fried
Oh,
stuff.
did you? When I was in New Orleans like 10 years ago, and I
Yeah.
tried Death, the hottest hot sauce in
I
the
didn't
world.
try that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about trying death.
Yeah.
Bobby, I think we got to get on the same page about that first. Tee hee hee.
It would be real selfish of me to commit suicide when I'm the one that handles the Patreon money.
It's all
Right.
right. It's not about the money.
Well, at the wedding you said
It's not about the money. It's
Yeah.
the satisfaction knowing that that weird little redhead is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, another podcast body. That fucking iTunes review was right,
Yeah.
dude. How wild would that be? That all my fucking people I've done a podcast with end up dying. And so I start another podcast trying to figure out who's killing my fucking co-host.
Or you just start podcasts with people you want to die.
No, come on. Yeah, it's like my death note, but it's like a huge. But then it's like, damn, I end up wanting to die because it's like I have to do at least like 5 episodes with a person
You
before
ask
they die.
this new open micer, like, hey, do you want to start a podcast for me? He starts crying because he knows what it means, but he could really use the opportunity.
The exposure.
Yeah, it's
That'd be
one of those.
awesome.
Yeah, it's like Joe wants to do a podcast with me. Well, it's like getting a getting a terminal illness diagnosis. It's like, well, I don't have much time left. Let me enjoy it while I have the
I
time.
went skydiving. I went Rocky Mountain climbing.
I went
2.7 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu. You're the bull named Fu Manchu. That's you, Joe.
Nice.
live like you were dying.
Oh, damn, dude.
Tim McGraw, the star of 1883, the Yellowstone prequel.
Oh, damn. I'm going to watch the.
1883 is my Tinder age preference, by the way.
Yeah, I thought it was
18 to 83.
Yeah,
Hey,
the middle
nice,
two
dude.
numbers are a preference of mine.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've gone over this, Bobby. What's
There's
the
some real dog whistles in this episode.
What's the oldest woman you fucked?
40.
Nice.
How old were you?
Oh,
16.
yeah.
She was my
Mrs.
English
Robinson.
teacher.
Yeah.
It was
I-
the principal. She's like, you're in detention unless you let me sit on your face. young
I
man."
was under 30. So it's not that. I mean, I was late 20s, so it wasn't like, oh, I fucked an older. I mean,
It was
older,
old enough to be your mom.
Yeah.
Well, if she was raped as a teenager, I
Ooh,
guess.
this story just gets hotter and hotter. Good Lord.
Did you
had sex with your own rape baby? My God, you freak. All right, Bobby. Give me a second for my blood pressure to lower, and then please continue with this story.
Joe has to hold his breath so his boner goes away.
Oh my God! I'm hooked up to I got like an oxygen tank. While you guys tell your tales of erotica, because I get too winded hearing it. You know how worked up old man Gorman gets when you recount these stories of borderline statutory rape. Continue, please. It's like my doctors are telling me it's a health hazard for me to do a podcast and get so worked up.
Even within the bit, we're describing a rape, and Joe still has to call it borderline. He can't admit a man was guilty.
Hey, we only know so many sides, dude. We only know so much, man.
Yeah.
So you tried death.
Yes, I tried death. But I was gonna say, we were just talking about that. I just saw a picture of John Fetterman's wife.
Ooh, were you getting horny?
Tasty.
Dude, 13 years younger than him. He's 53,
Nice.
She's 40. When they were married, 39, 26.
He did it.
He's also gigantic. He's like 6'9".
Yeah.
And she's
Nice.
about like 5'10", 5'11", it seems.
How do you
'Cause
think-
she
Wow, a big
seems-
guy with brain issues.
Yeah. She seems small next to him, but there was a picture. She is 40, but there's a picture that came out recently. I just saw like yesterday, where she's outside of his office, and it's like first day on the new job, and it was actually a post from him with his wife, but everyone thought it was like she's some young intern working at John Fetterman's office,
Ooh, nice.
posting it. And yeah, she looks like a 21-year-old.
Do you think he fucking grabs her by the fucking back of her hair and throws her against the fucking bed frame while he plows his fucking giant fucking 6'9" dick?
Yeah, and he's
into
like,
her?
I'm going to, what's the word?
Yeah.
The assistant comes up next to him. Fuck. Oh, thank you. I'm going to fuck you.
Now, this is the dude that's like covered in like sleeve tattoos, and like, who did he beat? He's some
Dr. Oz.
I'd vote for Dr. Oz. He helped
This
me.
guy,
But John Fetterman chased a black man while holding a shotgun.
Well, that's pretty cool too. All right, John
6'9",
Fetterman.
bald dude who was wearing hoodies all campaign. He looked like an out of shape, like NBA G League bench player.
Nice.
Because he's like so
G-spot
tall
league.
and kind of like losing weight, but still like he's got the like. He seems like he at one point was a decent athlete.
Now, there were a couple of candidates that fucking held guns to black people and shit, right? Mm-hmm. That wasn't John Fetterman wasn't the only one. Wasn't there one other like there was like some other fucking. They were like, hey, this other guy fucking chased down a black guy and was acquitted or some shit, right?
Herschel Walker chased down a lot of black guys.
Well, Herschel Walker's
when
fucking
he was playing football.
any guy who
Actually,
doesn't-
he was
several black fetuses.
Yes. Actually, Herschel Walker was getting chased. He was a running back, but still.
Matt, do you think you could like before you broke your arm? Do you think you could have done more push-ups than Herschel Walker?
No, he's like insane.
Yeah.
His whole workout is all
that's
like
why
push-ups.
he's insane. Yeah, how many push-ups you could do?
Yes,
He does like 1,000 push-ups a day.
Yeah, some ridiculous number. That's like the only workout he does is body weight workouts.
But that's like the best probably workout.
Honestly,
for you.
it sounds so stupid, but I miss doing push-ups so much because I was I compulsively do push-ups. Like,
Yeah.
when I'm at home, I'll just like commercial on TV,
Yeah.
breaking whatever. I always do push-ups. It's legitimately something I miss way more than I thought I would.
It's a good habit to have.
Yeah, but it's also like the most ridiculous thing to be like, I broke my arm. What do you? I miss doing push-ups.
Saluting and doing push-ups.
It's almost as retarded as explaining to people that I broke my arm while arm wrestling on stage in a fake karate outfit.
You could do one-arm push-ups, but those are harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, then I would just end up with like the Quagmire arm.
Yeah.
Where one arm's just.
But people like that, though. I think if you were like, my one arm's bigger than the other, it's because this arm is broken, they'd be like, oh, well, good for you for putting the work in still. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Maybe.
I think I'll do it. I'll take like a video for Instagram of me lifting with one arm.
Yeah.
And just be like, still putting in that work.
Yeah. There
Just
was
one.
But I won't actually do the workout like every day or anything.
No.
Yeah. But just,
if
you know.
get it on the gram. It's
Yeah,
fine.
because you're all right. People do like it, but you know, you don't have to actually do things that people like anymore with Instagram. You can just pretend like you're doing
Does
them.
does your insurance cover a physical therapist?
I hope so.
Does
I
it,
mean,
does
it'll
it cover your surgery?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's once the thing. What it seems like at this point, because I've only had Medicaid for the last year or so. I generally always, most of my life, I always had good insurance. And I just got fucked during the pandemic by losing, not being able to work security. Which at the time I was kind of like, good. I'm kind of done working security anyway.
Right.
But then it's hard to start in a new field and get a job with good insurance immediately, or get a job that doesn't fire you within a week.
Yeah.
That your friend gets for you.
That's should we break that down a little
I
bit?
think we talked about it before.
Yeah.
But
Bobby made fucking Matt give him a blowjob. And then Bobby swore up and down like, oh, I'm going to get you a real fucking job. Just give me a little sucky. And Matt was like, okay, well, I want to have an office job, so I'll do it.
Yeah.
Bobby fucking comes after 5 seconds. Matt barely has time to wrap his lips around Bobbert's little shaft. And then the next day, Matt's like, I'm ready. He had like his fucking tie. He was all ready to go to the office. He had a fucking Superman lunchbox. And Bobby just completely ignored him. He was like, what are you talking about? Pretending he didn't know anything about an office job. Matt was like sad. He wrote like a resume saying like, I can't wait to work in an office.
Yeah.
It was just awful. Matt was completely heartbroken.
it was an Incredible Hulk lunchbox, but everything else pretty accurate.
I just like the idea of ghosting Matt, even though I do a podcast with him.
Yeah. But yeah, Bobby got me a job at his office, and I was doing fine. And then after a week, they were just like, we actually weren't ready to expand the team. And I would admit, like, if I was fucking up, I would totally admit that and laugh about it.
Yeah.
I was hired with somebody else who was fucking up a lot.
Yeah.
And we do have a theory that they're so unorganized they may have just thought, that new guy sucks, right? It's like, yeah, I get rid of both of them.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to the guy boss.
Yeah.
And I was actually telling him that you broke your arm.
Yeah.
Because we were talking, and he well, first of all, he laughed very hard.
Yes.
But then
Did you tell him it was arm wrestling?
yeah. And then he was like, I really liked him. I hope it would be nice to work with him again.
Oh.
So that's the way that I found out that the girl
Nice.
boss was the one that fired you, I guess.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that explains your hatred of women.
Maybe it was because she wanted to fuck you.
Maybe. She's like, I don't trust myself around this
Yeah.
big, strong
Even
man.
though she fired me, I would. She was a hot.
Nice.
She's
Yes.
hot.
Yes.
Nice. You could
She's
be
a hot
like,
little piece.
dude. She was like, Matt.
I'm so glad this is
Nice.
going on the internet for everyone to see.
Does she still work in the company?
She certainly does.
Matt, you should fucking march back there and you should be like, hey, I know I can't fuck my boss,
Yeah.
but how about I just fuck this fucking chick how about I fuck you as a chick?
Yeah.
And I don't fuck you as a boss. That's what you want. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that worked.
It's worth a shot, dude.
I guess so.
The next day, Bobby gets fired because she's like, I heard your little fucking podcast about this fucking sexual assault fantasy.
Dude, I'm
you have."
waiting to get fired, dude. I have
Yeah.
about 45 minutes of work a day. I have no idea.
Don't say that into the fucking microphone.
It
Jesus,
is what it-
Bobby.
I sort of have. I'm like suicidal, but with my job.
Whoa!
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, because well, you know when there's a comedian has a joke that says like, I'm not suicidal, but I don't look both ways when I cross the street.
Who's that?
I
Is
don't.
it Dan Wicks?
Yes, it's Dan Wicks. And
Is it really?
No, I just agree with what the first person Joe says because I legitimately don't remember. But then he'll do this weird gaslighting thing of yes, you do remember,
No,
but you
but
don't want
Is
to say.
looking both ways we're crossing the street like eye contact? Because Dan can't do that.
Yeah.
Is he autistic for real?
Probably.
Oh,
I
mercy.
think he's somewhere. No, I think he's somewhere along the way to autistic.
Oh no!
On the highway to autism.
So you tried death.
Yes. And Joe is at Mark Norman's wedding in New Orleans. Tell us about this big networking event you went to. All the connections you made.
It was fun, man.
Yeah.
Everyone had a great time. It was like a Disney wedding.
Yeah.
Everyone was celebrating. Everyone was
Stavros
happy.
Halkias was the beast.
Hey, come on. He would be like what character would he be? He'd be like
Pumbaa.
Maybe, yeah, he'd be a Pumbaa like
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
We're all. I'm like the Jason Alexander Jr. Gargoyle and Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Joe List is Timon.
That's a good one.
I don't know enough Disney characters.
That's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough characters.
Who was the Hercules of the wedding?
Damn. That's a good.
You could say yourself.
You could
Nothing's
be the
stopping you
Hercules
from
of the
saying
wedding.
No, I already established myself as the Jason Alexander Jr.
Your Gumar was Kelly, the Hercules of the wedding.
my beautiful Gumar.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, what were some of the
Should we do
highlights?
I caught the bouquet.
Yeah. Oh, you actually did?
I did.
You
No,
told me
I
you,
didn't really.
Oh, you he texted me. I caught the bouquet. I pushed Karen Margolis out of the way.
That would be tight. Everyone was trying to get wifed up there.
It's not fair for a woman comedian to catch the bouquet because it's like that should be for someone that's actually going to get married. you
Yeah,
know?
that's true.
Yeah. Do you think women comedians are destined to forever be alone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why?
Well, if there's truly a God, then yes.
Because is it because they talk about their impure, sinful life on stage?
Yeah.
Who-
You mean
were
I'm
there-
not your first? That's every time I see a beautiful woman comedian and she's like, I had sex with this guy. I'm like, all right, so I'm not going to be the first?
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
I don't know.
You punch a hole in the wall. Fucking slut!
I loved you. I swear to God, I loved you. How the fuck could you do this to me?
Yeah. were there? Who was the best man?
Joe?
Oh, it was his
Joe List.
No, it was his brother.
Oh, okay. Did like comics speak at the wedding?
No,
No.
it was like a simple little get together.
Oh, okay.
I think
that was just like a
multiple
party
people
after.
speaking, like maybe with a bucket, like pick the names out of the
Yeah.
bucket, and then
Oh, yeah.
Whoever gets name pulled out gets to go up first.
I'm eloping, like straight up.
yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Way to do
You're not
it.
going to do a wedding?
Hell no.
have you talked this over with anyone else?
Nope, doesn't need to, dude. It's gonna. I've seen. If my history of WWE is correct, she just needs to be unconscious at a Las Vegas drive-through, and it's all good.
Dude, I sent it to Joe. So, do you know the story with that? Like, in the TV show, on Monday Night Raw, Triple H drugged Stephanie McMahon, and they went to a Vegas drive-thru and got married.
Stephanie McMahon is very hot because she has
Yeah.
big titties, but she's also like business, like a business bitch.
Yeah. So, in the storyline, Stephanie McMahon was in love with Test, a different wrestler. She was going to marry him.
Was he 5'6" and had red hair?
No,
Yeah.
he was about 6'8" and had long blonde hair, but he died of a drug overdose at 33, just like Jesus.
Just like me, probably.
I'm a Quest bar overdose. The number of Quest bars, the sugar alcohol completely eroded the lining in his anus.
Yes.
And his small and large intestines just sloshed out of his now mush-like asshole.
Yes.
And like his organs
Yeah.
drifted out from within. Come on up, Finn. I know.
I
did have
you were
diarrhea
upset.
today.
You were upset hearing about how Bobby's gonna die.
But yeah, so Stephanie
Well, at
McMahon
least
was
that's one person, huh? Or one entity.
she was
I
going
should
to
say.
marry Test, and then Triple H came out and said they were like, "Does anybody, if anybody has an issue with this marriage, speak now or forever hold your peace." And Triple H's music hit, and then he came out and said, "This wedding can't happen because Stephanie's already married." And he played a video on the Titantron of the night before when they went to a drive-thru in Vegas where she was drugged, and they were actually married. And this led to a match between Vince McMahon and Triple H. Because Vince was very upset that Triple H married Stephanie.
Vince
and
McMahon?
Then, yes.
Isn't he
midway
in
through
trouble?
the match, Stephanie McMahon came out and attacked Vince McMahon and joined up with Triple H. And she was actually happy to be married to the evil Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Yeah.
This is hard to follow, dude.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Bobby's overwhelmed. All right, so imagine fucking Triple H is like, so imagine Stephanie McMahon is like the
Haley Mathers.
Trying
We're trying to make it Eminem.
No, Stephanie McMahon is the 13 colonies.
Okay.
All right.
I'm listening.
And Triple H is George Washington.
Okay.
And George Washington had to fight Great Britain, so Vince McMahon
Is King
like
George.
Yeah, is like King George.
Okay.
And Tess is Great Britain.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Perfect. So there you go.
No, I
Yeah.
understand now.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, you remember when
Phew.
George Washington drugged all the 13 colonies and brought them to a Vegas drive-thru and convinced them to fight a revolution?
to sign the Declaration of Independence. Does anyone object to taxation without representation?
Yeah.
And then George Washington's theme music plays, which
Yeah.
is like,
Hail to the chief.
yeah, da, 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 da. It's like, King George looking at her, what the fuck? What the hell?
And all of his slaves are like around him.
Yeah.
They sit down at the ring. He's
So
taking out his wooden teeth, JR.
that's a foreign object, but the referee's back is turned. But then recently, there's like a guy who's like a journalist. The wrestling journalism world is weird. Like they're all like wrestling journalists, but almost like none of them are actual journalists. They're just like bloggers who are the only people who would actually spend that much time writing about wrestling. So they just get called by default wrestling journalists. But there was one of the guys who hosts like a podcast who got married recently, and they took a picture like dressed like in the car, dressed like Triple H and Stephanie were, and said like and posted on Twitter, and Stephanie McMahon retweeted it and said something like hopefully it's a night you'll actually remember, like it played along with the joke.
Oh, that's funny.
And yeah, there were some people who responded to the tweet like, is Stephanie McMahon endorsing rape right now?
I hope so, dude.
Bobby, please.
Settle down.
I couldn't help but laugh uncontrollably because at some point during your story, I made a sarcastic surprise face.
Yeah.
And then as I did that, Bombastus looked right at me like, what? What's happening? Bombastus the cat.
Bubs is tight.
Yeah.
Shout out to our dog and cat babysitter, Stephen Wolf, who stayed at our house and took care of the
He's a good man.
kids while Mom and Dad were...
He's a very funny comedian.
Yeah.
In New
Fun,
Orleans.
Good guy, yeah.
Yeah. You did a swamp tour?
We did. We went on a swamp tour. Unfortunately,
You went to D.C.?
Oh.
Hell yeah, dude.
I thought you were in New Orleans, not Washington, D.C.
Swamp tour is also what I call fucking a bunch of ugly chicks.
There you go.
Bob Burt.
Drain the swamp. I'm about to drain my balls. You know what I'm
Bob
saying?
Burt. Do you mean that?
I mean it.
Oh.
If
I'm lying, I'm fucking a man, and I'm a fucking faggot.
Yep. Folks, that was me talking just now. I might have sounded like Joe, but it was me.
Yeah.
You do get fired from your day job because did you say faggot?
Yeah.
On some stupid incel podcast. Have you ever killed a faggot?
Just 60 minutes, the camera pans to me. I'm looking contemplatively. You know what, Joe? I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
We have to define some terms here. What does it mean to kill? Does it mean to end a life?
Yeah. It took 40 episodes to get here, but this is what Bobby's been waiting for the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I haven't, but one day I will. And it's going to be me. Good thing I would be dead. Otherwise, it'd be a hate crime for killing a faggot.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, I don't think I'm going to kill myself because I want to see what happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's a swamp tour?
You just drive around. Like, we go on like a boat, and he just takes us around the swamp and points out the wildlife and levees and shit like that.
The levees?
Yeah.
You mean the former levees?
Yeah, a lot of them. It's all going to be...
Levity on live, huh?
Yeah.
That's when they don't work.
It's all going to turn into the Gulf of Mexico eventually.
Yeah.
Sucks, but hey, what can you do?
And do you see any gators?
Only a handful. It was so cold, so he said like a lot of them were hibernating. We're like, well, fuck, we wouldn't have bought tickets if we knew that.
Yeah.
Would have gone on one of the haunted tours.
You would have said, see you later, alligator.
Yeah.
Exactly, Bubberto.
On a wild crocodile.
You ever been to New Orleans, Bobbert?
No, I mean, I just visited Dixie last year when I went to Chattanooga.
Oh, you
that
never
was my
been
Dixie
down
debut.
south at all?
Did
Or,
you were you doing any sets out there?
Yeah, that's why I went there.
Ooh, baby boy, how was it?
It was fun.
Were you nervous?
No, but I had a nice time.
Can you tell us what your opening joke was?
Ooh.
Was it about Crazy Joe Hooker?
It was about Crazy Joe Hooker, dude. I was like, man, I'm having a worse time down south than Crazy Joe Hooker was during the Peninsula campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right before the podcast, Bobby asked me what I know about Crazy Joe Hooker, apparently a general in the Union Army.
Oh, Fighting Joe Hooker.
Fighting Joe. Oh, I thought it was Crazy Joe.
Although,
most hookers I know are crazy, but they also are fighting. So
Yeah.
I get confused.
They're also they also do comedy.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I wish.
But Fighting Joe Hooker's the Union General Fighting Joe Hooker, his best friend was, and I just found this out recently, none other than Dan Sickles.
Oh, Dan Sickles. We've talked about Dan Sickles on the pod
after
before.
the Union Army.
Dan Sickles is awesome.
After the Union Army got their absolute asses handed to them in Chancellorsville, every Union general, or rather every Union subordinate to Joe Hooker was like, dude, Joe Hooker sucks and he needs to get kicked out. Yeah. And people were even going to Lincoln and being like, you got to fire this dude. And Lincoln was like apprehensive because he
Is
just
he worse than McClellan?
Well, he was McClellan's replacement. So Lincoln's like, I can't keep firing every general once they lose one battle. But everyone's like, no, Joe Hooker really sucks.
Yeah.
And the only person apparently that
Hookers
came to
really suck from what I've heard.
Yeah, dude. It's true. And the only person that came to his defense was Dan Sickles.
Ooh, Dancicles.
Dancicles.
Dan Sickles.
Yeah, before the podcast, Bobby mentioned fighting Joe Hooker. Well, if he's bad at fighting, though, so that's a bad nickname for him.
I think he got the nickname before it was demonstrated how bad at fighting he was. It was like when my nickname used to be Big Dick Bobby Sheehan.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like our 32nd president, Walkin' Franklin.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
But
We got
Finnegan's getting
Sober
aggressive.
Grant,
Sober
non-raping
Grant.
Clinton.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the president anymore, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned fighting Joe Hooker, and I actually didn't know much about him, and you were about to tell me, but for all of your sake, I made sure Bobby saved it for the podcast.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Is he got fired between George McClellan getting fired. He was the OG Union General.
Yeah.
But before Meade took over, and Meade, for those that don't know, is the guy that won Gettysburg.
Yeah,
I'm
Meade is probably, if you're ranking Civil War generals, he's in the top tier.
top tier general for sure. Yeah.
It's weird which ones, just in history, generally the things you learn the most about the people from back then are just people who had the best storytellers about them.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot what, Longstreet, he was he Confederate or Union?
Confederate.
So he's like the guy who, of the Confederate generals, was probably the best Confederate general.
Yep.
But people just talk about like Stonewall Jackson and some of the other ones who just had like cooler stories about them.
You know what some of that is Longstreet after he was like one of the first guys after the Civil War to be like, listen, I fought for the Confederacy, but the Union is restored, and I'm not only am I a Unionist now, but I'm a Republican. And I'm going to start stop a white race riot in Louisiana.
Yes.
By commanding black troops.
Yeah.
So he
pointed
went
at Joe because he was in Louisiana, not because he wants to stop white race riots.
Exactly. Dude.
Yeah. But yeah, so Longstreet, he also like didn't fit into the post-Civil War South will rise again type agenda.
Well, once you cross over to I'm going to command white troops to stop Klan members.
Yeah.
That's pretty far in the other direction, and you might not be lionized as being like a
hero of the South.
Yeah.
I guess
He's a villain.
which they should. That's the direction you should go in if you're like
a guy who fought for our way of life and our culture, but also then wasn't racist. That's actually the ideal hero for the South.
Yeah.
Ooh,
If you're
cutie.
going to have a Confederate statue, that's one you can actually defend.
Yeah.
That people you're tearing it down, at least for the people who want to tear down statues, you could defend it to them.
Think about it, Bobby.
Although what's that one very funny Confederate
The
statue?
Nathan Bedford Forrest?
Yeah, where he looks like a psychopath.
Yeah, and he is legit, like, he's one of the ones who are, like, revered, he's one of the crazier ones.
Yeah.
Like,
Klan
he was,
dude.
like,
Klan. He was like one of the
he was
Klan
an early
guys.
Klan guy. I was gonna say, even with like a lot of like Wild West heroes, it's really just the ones who like had good stories told about them and lived the long. Like Wyatt Earp, he wasn't as big of a like. There's other names that did more impactful things than Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
But there was like a book written a couple years after he died that like really lionized him. And also he lived till like the 1920s, so he was like on set in like early Hollywood Western movies, where all the other guys were like dead before that.
The
Damn,
perfect
that's wild.
plan.
Yeah,
Perfect
like a young
plan.
John Wayne, when he was like 20 years old. John Wayne's on one of his first movie sets, talks about meeting and hanging out with Wyatt Earp.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I wish I knew Wyatt Earp.
Yeah, what would you do? What would you say to him?
I'd say, buckle up, buckaroo, and then I'd fucking shoot him. Because that's what I did when I was in Louisiana. I went to a gun range.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I'm now a pro-gun comedian.
Hell yeah.
I love guns. I think everyone should have a gun. I think every school should have a gun. And I think anyone that tries to take away the rights of people to have a gun needs to say hello to my little friend. A fucking gun. A fucking...
Say hello to my little friend,
Yeah.
and Bobby pops into the camera.
Hello.
We went to a shooting range. I went with Chris Metcalf and Maximilian Spinelli of Tiny Cupboard fame and New York comedy. So we were there. We were all there for the wedding, and we were like going to go to a shooting range, and we were all kind of drunk the night before. And Chris breached the idea of like, you want to go to a shooting range? I'm going to go. Every time I'm in the South, I go to a shooting range.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'll go. And we were going around, and everyone was saying like, yeah, we should all go. But I was like, I wonder who's actually going to go. So it ended up being me, Chris, and Max. So it was like the perfect amount.
Nice. The Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
We took an Uber about 30 minutes outside of the French district. And it was awesome. So we went to the shooting range, and we had an instructor, Isaiah. Shout out Angel Arms Nola on Instagram. There's a video of us, and he shot us. He told us how to fire a weapon. He taught us about proper gun safety, how to aim. There was like an outline of a person, and we had to fire at that. I shot in the chest and the head.
Nice.
I know how. I got the. I think I have.
Oh, you got the outline.
The outline's over there. I can show you guys later.
Well, that's just a picture of a black man.
Exactly. That's how I knew how to aim, dude.
Yeah.
It was fucking tight.
Yeah. At this
I'll
point,
show you I'll show you it on the Patreon.
It has a bubble that says,
okay.
"I'm Kevin Hart."
yeah. At this point, I would say I'm pro gun too and flex if I could.
Yeah.
You
Dude,
can flex
I
with the
bet
other
that-
arm,
I bet
baby.
that-
Go ahead. Yeah.
I bet that arm wrestling match with Jay would have been different if you had a gun. You're arm
yeah.
wrestling and you fucking pull out a pistol and shoot him
Yeah.
to get the.
There's no
edge.
rules in arm wrestling.
Yeah, that's true.
No rules, just right. Outback Steakhouse of fucking sports arm wrestling.
Ooh, we should go to Outback Steakhouse.
We should.
We should, but it's raining right now.
I meant in the
future.
in the future. Yeah.
Probably in like a year or two, right?
I
Yeah.
did
Three or 4 years.
one of the not but like receptionists in the hospital before I had the surgery. When I told them that I broke my arm wrestling, he said, "Oh yeah, it's a dangerous sport. People don't realize it." And I was kind of like, "You think I like do it as a sport? You think I'm a professional arm wrestler?"
Hey,
like,
Matt Maron, professional retard.
dude, so many.
You're like,
along
I'm
the-
not a
yeah.
professional arm wrestler. I'm a professional comedian. And the doctor was like, all right, sure, young man, right this way.
Yeah.
And they like just fucking put you down.
Along
They just
the- yeah.
insert a syringe full of fucking air
Yeah.
into your fucking arm.
Along the way, there were just like kind of casual things that did make me feel confident about myself.
Like what?
That the at first them telling me that when you break your bone an arm, they break your arm wrestling, it's because your muscle was stronger than your bone and just like didn't know any better. Basically, like
This
I'm
is like the third time Matt's mentioned
Yes.
that, and like we're still not wowed by it.
Well, you
So he
asked
tries
me.
to sneak it in.
You did ask. I didn't sneak it in. I said there were things that were said that made me feel good, and you're like what?
I thought you were gonna bring something new
Yeah.
to the table, like
No, and they
like,
and then once
everyone
the,
else
yeah.
in the hospital.
Skip 45
Yeah.
seconds
There you go.
before if you
Yeah.
want to skip.
And once the bone broke and it was out, they said it was being pulled up along the side because of how big and strong my tricep was, and I was like, hell yeah.
Did you see anyone else in the waiting room that you thought might die?
No, well, in the ER, I was like, they had the curtains closed, so I couldn't see. I kind of wish in hindsight I had looked around a little bit because it was Halloween weekend, and I wondered if there was like a bunch of other people in costumes also.
Ooh, cause it's a thriller night.
Matt walks by some guy laying in bed. He's like, "Oh, that's a great homeless man costume."
Yeah.
How funny, dude! How funny would it be if like Matt was in like the waiting room? He's like, my fucking broken arm can't get much worse than this, and then this other guy was like, you gotta help! This fucking crazy guy bit me. Some fucking asshole bit me. And it's like, sir, please, there's a wait. You gotta fucking wait. And like 5 minutes later, the guy was like, and he's a fucking zombie. And Matt's like, oh shit! He's all fucking scared and shit, and he's trying to fucking run. You think Matt would survive a fucking zombie?
He'd have
with a
no
fucking
way to
broken
defend
arm?
himself. He's
What
unarmed.
if I get bitten by the zombie and then I do the zombie walk and one of my arms is like, it's still broken, so I just have one arm up and the other one just dangling.
For all
Half of
eternity.
it is up and the front half of it is just hanging down. It's like my whole forearm is down like the gay hand. I guess that's nice. I don't have a broken wrist, so I don't have the gay hand.
Thank God, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy that when they find out you're gay, they break your wrists so that you do the gay.
Apparently, I did break my wrist once before. I had a fracture in it.
Huh.
But it was I had an MRI done on I think it was like on my groin or something, and they were
Okay.
like, "Hold on, I think we saw
Sorry,
something in
sir.
your-"
It is getting no bigger than this.
And they like said, "We're gonna get your wrist also. I think we saw something there." And they're like, "Well, the fracture's healing nicely." I'm like, the what?"
That's very funny.
I'd had like it had been sore for a while, but I didn't realize I had a fracture.
It's curious that our bodies just kind of break like toys, like
So
plastic
fragile.
little Christmas toys.
Delicate,
Yeah.
like a snowflake.
That kind of fucks me up sometimes when I think of like if something comes directly at my head with enough force, I die.
No,
No, it's
I
true,
wouldn't
Joe.
let that happen.
Joe, I. Thank you, man. But you're not always going to be there.
You don't know that.
Anytime something
Are you the footprints I couldn't see?
anytime
That's when I was
something.
doing some stealthy ninja type shit.
Don't worry, Bobby.
Something coming at your head, I go, hi, it's all like in slow motion. I'm coming down with a katana, and like that
Anytime-
thing goes in like 2 separate directions.
Yeah. Anytime
like a
something
fucking
with
hentai.
anytime
Joe
something
thinks
with
like,
force, anytime something with force is coming right at your face, Bobby, it's because of Joe. Whether it's a katana, his semen, it's happening.
I always think about there was a guy. He's from the Czech Republic.
Uh-oh.
And he moved to New York, and he parked his car on the side of the street.
No.
And he was like eating lunch in his car, and then a crane like ended up being kind of near his car, and then the top part of it like fell on top of his car and died. And it's just like that guy was doing nothing wrong. And it's just like a freak thing, and he probably didn't even know it happened, and in a second, just complete loss of consciousness.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Were you sad when you read about that?
I mean, I didn't know
Until he
him.
found
but-
out it was a guy from the Czech Republic.
Yeah, I was like, well, that was probably the pimp that tried to beat me up. But
Did you tell that story? You got beat up by a pimp?
no, I mixed the two things together. I got beat up by a guy in the Czech Republic, and I used to go to brothels a lot. But
Oh,
for
okay.
simplicity's sake, for continuity's sake, I
Right.
made it.
The
Was
guy
there-
who like beat you up in the bathroom for petting
Yeah.
his dog too
Uh-huh.
aggressively.
Yeah.
Because not everyone's like you, Joe. Not everyone just lets you pet the dog as much as you want.
I mean, Finney seems to be enjoying himself, but like if you were upsetting him, I'd be like, can
Well,
you,
I wasn't
like, not-
upsetting the
yeah.
dog. I was upsetting the owner of the dog because he clearly brought the cute dog to the bar to get pussy.
I
And
mean,
was
what can you
impeding
do?
his ability to get pussy.
Yeah, well, that sucks because like you gotta like have a dog just to have a fucking dog. You can't have a dog like to get pussy.
That's how I
Maybe
feel
to-
about-
maybe to help you through life. Maybe if it was like a service dog and he was like, actually, you're fucking up his training by petting him.
Yeah.
that would be like, all right, dude, I told you, like I'm trained, but
He's at work.
Otherwise, it's like, if it's not like upsetting the dog, like you let him pet your fucking dog. It's good that they got to be social, dude. Dogs are meant to get along well with man.
When you went to the brothels in Czech Republic, there
Come
were
here.
pimps? Or was it like the manager?
Yeah, but that was like a huge guy that also functioned as security, I imagine.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
That was the guy who you spoke to when you went there.
Because he
Okay.
was always like a little cold, and I think it was Czech people aren't known for being particularly warm, but also it was sort of to be like, because I always was intoxicated when I went there too, so I think part of it was like, hey, just so you know, if you're like fucked up to the girls, I'll kill you.
I kind of have
Who
the idea
cares?
of like.
he kind
Yeah. I think a brothel, in my mind, there'd be security there, but in my mind, brothel or an official establishment, it's almost like there's like a woman hostess almost, I
A
would
madam
imagine.
of the house.
Yeah.
A mommy. A
Or
house
like-
mommy.
Like when you like walk into an Applebee's and there's like the woman there
Yeah.
to like greet you. Like I imagine a
hostess.
brothel is kind of like that.
A hostess, yeah.
Yeah.
How many tonight?
One small penis, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, he was the guy I imagine that called the phone and was like, "All right, this guy's been up there for a half hour." So
Yeah.
Matt wasn't. That was an episode with Kelly when I told the story. So.
Oh yeah,
about
I
the
remember
guy
that.
couldn't come.
I edited the podcast
Oh
clip
yeah,
of it.
okay. Then you know. Then
Yeah.
you know the story. But
If you guys are looking for clips, once my arm is better, they'll be back.
yeah, it's kind of because I went a few times, so the guy like knew who I was eventually, and I think the funnest part, other than the actual intercourse, was when they line all the women up and I get to choose which one, which
yeah.
is like, I mean,
Are they clothed when you do that, or are they naked already?
Are they wearing like exotic lingerie or a costume?
a costume,
Like
Yeah.
one's a firefighter.
like Village People.
Yeah, one's
Yeah.
like a nurse,
Uh-huh.
you know? One's like a vampire.
One's a GI, and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I've always supported the troops.
Right.
Yeah.
GI Jane, you're coming with me. Can I shave your head though? You know.
That'd be cool. Man,
Oh.
that'd be...
Never call a woman G.I. Jane, Bobby. Have you learned nothing?
My fetish is when Will Smith slaps me though, so that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, so when they line them up, are they in like lingerie?
Yeah, they're in lingerie, so you could tell how like you could see their body.
Gotcha.
Nice.
And I like brunettes, so I would choose the brunette with the biggest tits.
Nice.
Yeah. But I don't remember if I told this story on the podcast before. But one time I had like limited funds.
Yeah.
Like I had. Like it was the day before payday, but
I heard limited funds, and I'm like, yeah, he can only fuck one prostitute tonight. I got limited funds this evening.
So it was like the day before payday, so I had like less than $200.
Yeah,
I think it was between $100 and $200. But I was drunk and I wanted to get pussy now. You know, that's where my brain was.
Call 877 get pussy now. My bank account is empty, but I need pussy now. Call JG Wentworth and get some pussy now.
So
Bobby got some pussy now. That's what I call music.
Nice.
they do play music.
Yeah,
It's very nice.
You needed some pussy. National Organization of Women.
Yeah.
Bobby goes into credit card debt for pussy.
Yeah.
So I walk in and I tell this guy that I now have a relationship with. I was like, this is how much money I have. And he like sort of rolls his eyes.
Yeah.
And he's like, really? You don't have any more? He's like, there's an ATM there. I'm like, nah, this is all I got. Like he thinks I'm haggling, but it's just, this is how much my life is in shambles.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, fine. And I'm expecting him to bring out a row of women. He just gives me this woman who already like nothing. She's like, she has a nice body. I can tell is like a little older, like possibly the oldest woman that's at this brothel.
Yeah.
Ooh,
so I'm
how
like,
old? Is this the 40-year-old?
No. So when you ask questions about my sexual history, I usually only consider the free ones. You know,
But would this have been the oldest woman you've been with?
I don't know. I think 40. She might have also been around 40. She could have also been in her 30s, but has had a rough life.
Yeah, that sucks for her too, because they have to know that they get lined up sometimes and they get picked sometimes.
Yeah.
So when they're picked, they must be like, "Oh, it's a guy without money. That's why I'm being chosen." Instead of they're not being given the option to pick me.
So I
what a blow.
It gets worse because she's like not enthusiastic, and usually women of the night
Because she knows why she was handed off to you.
She knows, and she takes off her clothes.
Yeah.
And she has a beautiful body.
Ooh.
But above her pussy is a cesarean scar.
Aw.
Yeah.
Life.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is.
Yeah. So I fucked a mom. I know that definitively that I've fucked a woman that has given birth to a child, or possibly under emergency circumstances.
Yeah, but you don't know if the child like died young, like of SIDS or something. So she may not have actually been a mom when you fucked her.
Maybe she needed to get like her tubes tied, and that's why she got her fucking surgery.
Really? That's what it mimics a cesarean scar, though?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm not a doctor.
I thought the tubes tied was like the two circles here.
Dog, I have no idea how a woman's body works. all I know is you don't want a baby, you throw him down a flight of stairs. Huh?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying here? You know what I'm saying? I know.
None of us have any idea how a woman's body works, which means we should be in charge of abortion laws.
I recently found out like women pee and you fuck them in two different holes.
Yep.
Isn't that wild? I thought you just shoved your dick in a giant fucking pee hole.
Yeah,
and then
like
when
a colloquia or whatever you say that word that ducks have.
And then
cloaca.
Cloaca.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I think that
Did I nail it?
Yeah, something like that.
And then like when like a woman gives birth, like their pussy and butthole like rip open into one giant hole and poo comes out too.
I've heard that does happen.
Yikes,
sometimes.
right?
Yeah.
We're adopting.
Yeah.
A white kid though. Relax.
Yeah.
Do you think that's weird when like one race adopts a different race?
I think it's okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like it only
I'm
ever goes one way.
interracial relationships in all its forms.
It only ever really goes one way.
Like, how would I be able to fucking comb his hair? Right? Like, it's like, what if I have a black? I can't adopt a black daughter. Like, she'll have like bad hair, and then like she won't be accepted among the blacks. Certainly won't be accepted among the whites, dude. White people hate black people.
Are there any like cases of like Asian families adopting white babies?
Never,
or
dude.
Black families adopting an Indian baby? It's
against
only ever white people adopting other races,
those
right?
other races, like it's they either have like a surplus of race, or in the case of Asians, like they're no longer having children.
Yeah. Well, in India, they have like
Too many.
lot. They have
There's
too many,
a little too many, man. Like, why the fuck would we need a white kid when I have 8 of these fucking kids of my own, man. I got to work 12 shifts now.
Yeah, it's the real problem with Apu. He's having too many babies.
And now all the shit in the streets of India.
yeah.
Hey, baby girl, I want to hit you up for the picture of boob and vagina, but
Yeah.
I got to go take a break so I can take a shit on the side of the sidewalk.
Yeah. Oh, Bob.
And then go grope a woman on the public transit, because that's another thing that's really prevalent in the super accurate depiction of the real Apu. Surprise, motherfucker! We don't all just do science and work in quickie mods. A lot of us are fucking rapists, and we also work in telemarketing scams. Now
And
let's see a picture of that boob and vagine.
Also dance in all of your movies.
How crazy would that be if, like, I would do a comedy show and, like, some fucking Indian guy gets all mad and chops off my head with one of those fucking crazy curved swords.
Yeah.
And then does, like, a little Bollywood dance afterwards. That would suck. Or would it?
Actually,
I
that's
get to
when,
die. That would be pretty sick.
Yeah. That's when, like, Japan and India make a movie together. Yeah. Dancing while committing harakiri.
Japanese and Indian.
Yeah.
That would make my favorite comedian, Dan Ninen.
You do like him, huh?
Dan Ninen.
I mean, have you seen his videos?
he gets his sushi from 7-Eleven.
I mean, come on, dude.
He's the ultimate millennial comic.
He is. Speaking of older cringy comics, you saw Bill Maher at the Hulu Theater.
I did, dude.
How was it?
It was
Did you
actually-
get someone to go with you?
I did not.
You
Yeah.
went solo dolo?
Solo dolo.
You
I
should have
would've-
invited that
yeah.
one chick that you have a crush on.
Who is this?
I don't know, that one like comedian chick you were talking about, Kim Congdon.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, I invited Kim Congdon, but she was like, I'm still a little hurt from the last time you ghosted me, so
Right.
Didn't
Why
work
don't
out.
you talk to these women that you have a crush on?
He's too nervous.
Too nervous.
Joe, can you give Bobby some advice on how he
Yeah.
can talk to women?
Here's what you do.
Okay.
You get you stand in the doorway
Okay.
when you're in the green room with them.
Okay.
Hold
That
the
way they
speaker
can't-
above your head.
That way they can't leave, and then you play this podcast for them.
Hey, this is my podcast. By the way, do you want to get together and write sometime?
That would
Get
be
together
awesome.
and write.
Somebody should
Standing
edit.
outside of someone's window with locker room talk playing.
Yeah, they should edit that scene in what does it say? Anything?
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, say
Just the
John
sound of
Cusack.
Cusack.
holding
cackling.
it, just us cackling, and then like just me being like unbelievably racist, talking about eugenics and shit.
Yeah.
Something cool.
But yeah, I think Bill Maher's kind of like at this point a guilty pleasure for me. Because I like him, but the amount of time I'll listen to stuff, I like his show. I'll hear him say some things a lot of the time where I'm just kind of like, this is cringy.
You respect. You will defend to death his right to say it, even though you
Yes.
don't agree with it.
There's usually still jokes in everything he does. And in his podcast, he has some interesting guests on. He had like Stephen A. Smith from ESPN. He just had Weird Al Yankovic on.
Interesting.
Quentin Tarantino. I would have been, if I was going out more often, I would have gone with you to see him at the Hulu Theater. How was the show?
It was good. He didn't have an opener, so the show was at 8. I
Yeah.
get there a little after 8, 8:15. He just walks on stage.
Really?
People are still like finding their seats, and he had a stool and like a water, of course, and then a conductor's stand with a notebook on it. And first thing he says is, New York City, how are we doing? I see some people are wearing masks, and most of you aren't. That's okay. Here's how I feel about masks, and goes into his bit about masks.
Yeah.
Like, and then just
Material.
runs an hour, and like during an applause break would like turn the page on his notebook to like look at the next, I guess, set of bits or whatever.
Were
Yeah.
you mad that he wasn't just like thinking up bits on the spot and saying it?
Yeah, that's what I thought
completely
comedy. I thought
Yeah.
comedy was people just saying whatever popped into their head.
in the moment.
Yeah, but I mean that's how I do it.
Uh-huh.
It just so happens that every time I say what's ever in my head, it's the same 15 minutes over and over.
Yeah. Is it, so was it sold out?
I don't know.
It was like a full theater.
Yeah, oh yeah, it didn't feel, but I don't know if it was sold out. I was happy that I had 2 seats.
Yeah.
Because a comedian friend of mine he got COVID, so he's like, do you want to go see Bill Maher? And he gave me both his tickets, and I could not find somebody to go with me, so I went by myself. And I was in the third and fourth seat, so I had a couple sitting to my left, and then an empty seat as seat number 3.
Yeah.
And then I sat in seat number 4, and then a big dude sat next to me, and then just
John Fetterman was there.
He was John Fetterman, except he was doing a little bit better with his words. Although, actually, he wasn't doing very good with his words because he bumped into me, did not say excuse me, opened his jacket, and this is what got me, is he opened his jacket, and then his sleeve of his jacket, he's sitting to my right, is just chilling on the right side of my body. And I'm like, I'm so glad I have 2 seats.
Yeah.
I just moved to the next seat.
Yeah, people
Ooh,
with
you showed him, dude.
I showed him.
People with sleeves are so irresponsible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a level of like non-spatial awareness, possibly coupled with main character syndrome, where that dude was just gonna let his coat sleeve lay on my thigh.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, come on, dude, get your goddamn life together.
It is also
But other
kinda-
than that, the show was good.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to me. Like, God, how that's so lucky to be in a position where you can just like the Hulu Theater, 6,000 seats in Madison Square Garden is your workout room.
Yeah, that's so the opposite of the upstairs room at Tiny Cupboard.
Yes.
I don't think so. I think they're both equally great.
Yeah. Less
he did-
hecklers. He got some heckles at the Hulu Theater.
What
Yeah.
do they say?
Just nonsense.
Oh, really?
Nothing like of substance. That's what most, at least in my experience, most heckles are just like drunk people that think they have coherent thoughts, but
Yeah.
they don't.
They're
I'm kinda
actually jealous of
Yeah.
him.
I'm kind of curious how Bill Maher does in. I figure like when he does the road, it's like his fans coming out. But in New York, I'm like, I feel like you can get some because he's still liberal. He's still like anti-Trump and everything, but he's like he pushes. He says a lot of things that some liberals really don't like. So in New York, I'm like wondering, are there going to be? Is there push? Was there?
Could someone
pushback?
get hurt?
The two heckles.
Did anybody get hurt? Is everybody okay?
Well, words are violence, so in
Yeah.
that sense, a lot of people did
A lot
get
of
hurt.
people-
Words
feel-
of violence, similar to silence. I'm a libtard. I don't try hard. All I ever wanted, all I ever needed was for you to misgender me. That's something I'm working on.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank
I like
you.
it.
Reprise. Columbia.
Should we do a musical album?
The Locker Room Talk, the musical.
Yeah. Matt,
Maybe.
He sings like a song about how he's strong on the outside but weak on the inside.
We could include my Lincoln rap.
Yeah.
We can call it Lincoln Park.
We could.
Yeah.
I mean,
Lincoln-
who's going to sue us? The estate of Chester Bennington?
No, he's dead.
Yeah. Come
They
on.
can't.
They can't.
It's under parody law.
Yeah. In the end, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, or we can.
I've done
spell it,
Lincoln.
yeah.
I've done Lincoln Park before. I can't do that. Although I am getting one step closer to the
Oh
edge,
my
and I'm
God.
about to break.
When was
Everyone listening just breathed a sigh of relief. And then we thought you were breaking the habit.
Nah, I can't. It's crawling in my skin.
when was the last album they made?
I don't know. I mean, I know there's been more since, but like Meteora was the last big one that I like had and like listened to.
That was years ago.
That was a while ago. They had a song in Transformers that's come out since then.
R.I.P.
There was one a few
Transformers.
years ago. I think they came out with. There was a couple of songs that I think I had on Spotify.
Mercy.
Nothing like the new Taylor Swift album, but still pretty cool.
Do you like Taylor Swift? Do you have a crush on her?
A little bit of a crush, yeah.
You should ask her out, dude.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Locker Room Talk fans, why don't you go to the Taylor Swift's house and convince her in the way only Locker Room Talk fans can that Matt Maran would be a good boyfriend.
I don't know if
And
I
maybe
would.
if she doesn't, we convince her a little bit more.
I don't know if I'd be a good boyfriend. I've been a bad boyfriend.
Why? What was the worst thing you've ever
I
done?
don't know. It's me. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
Yeah, that's a Taylor Swift song.
That's from the new album.
We got it. You know
On the
how you
ants,
can't
it's-
say anything like political in front of grandma, or it's
Yeah.
going to be a whole thing. You can't say a musical artist in front of Matt.
Yeah.
He'll just do.
True.
Do
It's really hard
pun-based.
always rooting for the anti-hero.
That's another Taylor Swift one.
Yeah, this is just karma. This is just karma, guys.
Oh man,
All right, I think I'm done.
I hope
Are you
so.
sad?
Yeah,
Why?
because I can never be with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, and your arm is
Yeah,
broken.
that's
She
that's
seems
pretty
like
sad
she
too.
would be high maintenance.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, you can't just take her to Applebee's.
Who do you think is
probably...
the most low maintenance famous chick in the world?
Ooh, Greta Thunberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were like, listen, we're saving the environment right now. All right, me making you mac and cheese, and not.
She's legal now, huh?
She certainly is, buddy.
Oh, is that why you said her?
Sure. Yeah.
What's the age of consent in Norway? Is that where she's from? I don't even know. Switzerland? Something like that,
I'm
right?
an American. I go by American laws.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fly her out here.
Your Honor. That's what I say while I'm getting arrested in Berlin for doing the Roman salute. I'm like, Your Honor, I'm an American.
Yeah.
All right.
There was a football game, NFL game in Munich in Germany this weekend. First time they've done a couple games in London.
Uh-oh.
And the video
When you
came
say
out.
football, you mean American football.
American football.
Gridiron, as it were.
Yes,
Hell yeah.
and National Football League. And during one
National
of the
Socialist Football League.
yeah, during one of the breaks in play, when they were just playing music, I think it's an American sport. So the Germans were like, let's do an American thing, and the entire crowd was singing along to "Take Me Home, Country Roads."
Oh, that's beautiful, dude.
Take me home,
Country roads.
Das
To
ist
the place.
gut.
to das place. Ein belong.
West
Ich bin
Virginia.
Virginia.
I'm assuming that David Hasselhoff covered that song, and that's why they
Yeah.
know it.
Yeah, I think it was
Everyone just loves that fucking song, dude.
someone was telling me that I think it's like German entertainment is nationalized or something, so a lot of their pop culture they get is from outside of Germany.
Does that blow your mind?
Blows something.
But like anyone who's big, any German who's big over here, it's like gigantic over there. That's why like Hasselhoff is so huge there.
Don't hassle the Hoff, dude. You can't.
No.
Who are some other famous German actors now?
Arnold Schwarzenegger is Austrian.
Yeah.
Yeah. David Hasselhoff, star of Eurotrip. He is very briefly in Eurotrip.
Yeah.
My favorite film that I saw him in was drunkenly trying to eat a cheeseburger from the floor.
That
Yes.
was sick, dude.
Yeah.
Cheeseburgers are pretty good.
That was one of my favorite Greg Giraldo roast jokes. Is about
Greg
David
Giraldo
Hasselhoff.
Jr.
Yeah, well, he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Was that the roast joke you were talking about?
Greg Giraldo Sr.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have to differentiate now. It's a whole new
Right.
ball game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
So-
Greg Giraldo Sr.,
Okay.
who I look him up too. He's good. Greg Giraldo Sr. But he
As good as Junior.
not as good of a hang.
I don't even think we should start calling him Junior. He's just Greg Giraldo. And then there's Greg Giraldo Sr.
For those that are
Greg Giraldo's
horribly,
the one that we know.
for those of you that are horribly lost, Greg Giraldo Jr. is the son of Greg Giraldo, who now does comedy in New York,
Yes.
and he's a cool guy.
Yeah. So anyway, Greg Giraldo
Great friend of the
Sr.
show.
Friend of the show.
I'm gonna go ahead and say friend of the podcast.
He-
It should really be called the Greg Giraldo
He was-
podcast.
yeah.
And featuring locker room.
He
talk.
was at the bar the
that
night.
could.
Yeah.
I mean, we could certainly try to do
Yeah.
that. See if
Well,
it gets pulled
let's
down.
title that episode
Yeah.
this and see where we go from there.
Yeah. Greg was at the bar the night that I broke my arm, and
Did he help? He was
he
having
did.
flashbacks.
He
Like
bought
first-
me a shot of whiskey.
He was like, "I lost my dad. I can't lose. I lost one important father figure to comedy. I can't lose another one."
Yeah, he's like, hey Matt, take it easy with those pain pills, all right?
Yeah, a few. Yeah, a couple of people were like, when I was there with the ice, waiting for the Uber to get there. Because at first we called an ambulance, and then we were like, we should call an Uber too, because this is probably going to be way too expensive. And then when the ambulance got there, they were like $1,200. I'm like, the Uber's down the block. We'll go there, and they gave me a sling for free.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know it's bullshit too.
Yeah.
That's crazy that they were even able to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a couple of people there were like, when I was just there with the ice, can I get you anything? I'm like, give me a shot of whiskey. I was just doing shots of whiskey.
Hell yeah.
Someone gave me an edible.
Damn.
That rules.
That'd be cool if you died in the ambulance,
Yeah.
though, because then it would have to be free.
But anyway, so Greg Giraldo Sr. roast joke.
Oh,
about
my
David
favorite roast joke
Hasselhoff.
that he did about David Hasselhoff was because he was making fun of David Hasselhoff for being a drunk, and he said, "Your liver is so shriveled, black, and dead. If you put your ear next to it, it says what you talking about, Willis."
Yeah.
Oh.
Wasn't that like the David Hasselhoff drunk on the floor eating a cheeseburger video was right around the same time as like the Paris Hilton cheeseburger on the car commercial thing?
Really?
I think it was within a few years.
Huh, okay.
I just remember cheeseburgers were big. Cheeseburgers had a they had a nice little run there. They had a moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you can't eat cheeseburgers because it's dairy on meat.
Right. Nah, I can has cheeseburger.
Hell yeah, dude.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Only people that remember 9/11 even know what that means.
Yeah. That would there's like some early internet stuff that was like, obviously everyone knows about like MySpace and the big ones, but then there's gonna be some random like Icon has cheeseburger that are just gonna be totally forgotten, but that were huge.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger than Christ.
Bigger than
Christ.
Jesus, bigger than wrestling.
But never bigger than locker room talk.
Never.
Now that we're reunited and better than ever.
Reunited and I am
so
gay.
Jay Turner, thank you for your sacrifice. We miss you. If anyone has any information on who the police officer was that murdered Jay Turner for, again, standing on his neck for 11 minutes, crippling George Floyd's record, showing the resiliency of black people, please let us know. Jay, we miss you. See you in hell.
If any other police officers out there want to break the record, you know where it's at now.
Yeah, who's
Do
next?
11/11 for good luck.
Who's next? Like some other. Who's the next black comic you want them to do that to before we go?
Well, it's definitely not Trevor Noah.
No, not
No.
Trevor
He's
Noah.
not a comedian.
I was thinking like local.
Okay.
Local, someone who we know.
I don't know if I have any black enemies.
Oh, are you sure?
We'll save it for the Patreon.
See you on the Patreon where we're gonna find out what black person we want to kill.